Hello and welcome back. This is Sherry with Heart and Soulful. I am back in the studio today, still working on some vintage book journals. So I don't think I did this one on camera, and I did not do this one on camera. This one I did a while back, and I wanted to bring it onto my table to show you the difference because I'm going to be starting another journal that's actually going to be a lot larger than the ones I've been working on, and it's for someone specific. So before I did that one, she wants a Coptic stitch, which is the one that I am kind of just figuring out. I did the last journal with the Coptic stitch, but I didn't like how it turned out, and I was given a tip from someone, so I wanted to go ahead and do another practice one for myself to see if I liked it any better before I do Melane's book. So I'm going to start a new series when I do Melane's because there's going to be some different things in it that I want to share. But I did not do this one, like I said, because it was kind of another practice one. But I do want to show you a flip through because I really like how it turned out. I am going to go ahead and do a spine cover on it, but I wanted to share with you what my experiment was. So the tip that I received was to continue using my bookbinder thread because it's waxed and it's linen. It really is the right product to use for stitching books. It's easy to work with. You get a tighter grip because of the wax as you're stitching a Coptic style stitch. And so it did work. The last one, which has already gone to its new home, had gotten really loosey-goosey. This one did come out much better, and I should have shown it before I changed it. But I did go ahead and put holes in the front cover. I did 2 at the top, 2 at the bottom, and then 1 in the middle. Because of my pages being different heights, I wanted to make sure I had 2 kind of close together just so that I had everything captured. When I did this one, I thought my intention was to just leave it a Coptic stitched book, which meant that I did the stitch similar to the kettle stitch, but you actually incorporate the cover. I did that, but I still didn't really like it. And her other advice was to double up if you think this feels too thin because of the thinness of the thread, to double up. And I did that, and I did like the look of that better, but I just still didn't like how loosey-goosey they are by nature. So I cut that off, fixed the stitching I needed to make sure that those first 2 signatures were going to stay attached, and then put it together as I would have done one with a kettle stitch, or in this case with my pamphlet stitch. So I want to show you the difference and the reason Melaine wants this Coptic stitch for hers. I think what I'll end up doing though is a kettle stitch and then attach the cover like I've been doing it with either the pamphlet stitch, or this again now became more of a kettle stitch because I took the cover off. So that might sound confusing if you're brand new to this. So this is really more for people who have been following along every day, my videos. When I go to actually put one of these together, I will do it in kind of a beginner format, so I'm explaining more to you. But today was more of a flip through. I'm going to be gone for a week or so, and I wanted to have another journal or 2 to take with me so that I could work on some stitching, some spine covers while I'm gone. So that's why I went ahead and did this and did it off camera, just so I can kind of experiment and see, if I did like it. Now, the one other thing that I did differently is, because I thought I was going to be leaving my stitching visible, I did not want it to be bright white. And so I actually took my binder's thread, which is waxed, and I took some Vintage Photo Distress Oxide Spray, and I just grungied up that thread, which kind of takes away some of the waxiness. It's probably, I'm searching for a word in my head and I can't think of the one that I want, but it kind of broke down the thread, which is not a good thing because I got it wet and then dried it. I didn't mind that so much because what I ended up doing is I just took some wax and I re-waxed. I warmed up that thread when I heated it to dry the ink. I could have just let it air dry and then the wax probably would have been okay, but you kind of break all that down. So I wanted to make sure I really waxed it well again. So I took my thread. I don't think I even have a scrap on my table anymore, but I just, well, I got it warm with my heat gun, and then I just waxed the heck out of it so that it still worked really well. Actually, you can see this piece, and you can see it's kind of has that stiffness because I had re-waxed it. So it did work really well. It gripped like I wanted it to, but I made it a grungy color, which I was happier with. Of course, then in the end, I wasn't really thrilled with the binding. Even though I did it nice and straight, I was happy with how it looked. I just didn't like how it felt function-wise. And I still just didn't, I don't know. Maybe I'll try it again. I'll keep trying till I get it, I guess. But I just wasn't thrilled with it. So I used my scrim. I just cut a piece of this really fine gauzy fabric and glued it to my spine. And I had to do it kind of in layers because, you know, these are stitched together, but there's always that little gap in between each signature. So you have to be really careful, because when you go to then open up these pages where the gap is in between, you might have glue that made these kind of stick together right in the seam, like kind of here. And I'm not pulling that apart. I'm going to leave it because it's okay. But I liked how it made the book sturdier to do this. So I kind of just layered on some glue carefully and let it dry so that I could now attach the cover without stitching the cover on. And I just like the stability it gives your book. And especially by the time I put the spine cover on also, it's really going to stiffen everything up. So I went ahead and did that. And then I was still kind of concerned, you know, about how fragile this first and last signature would be, you know, keeping everything together since I had taken my cover off. So the scrim kind of goes out to here that's glued down. And then I just took a piece of fabric that I had printed with one of Rachel from Roxy Creations. I ended up using some of her digitals in here because I just love them. And so I took a piece of fabric that I had printed, one of the digitals, and it was kind of perfect. This is just a scrap that's left. I just tore it, and I left it longer so that I could actually glue it onto this first signature page, because normally if you've watched previous videos, I would have taken that first signature page and actually glued that as my paper here, so that it really kept my book together. But I didn't want to glue this down because I really liked it. So I just took a piece of fabric and left a little edge that I could glue onto this first signature. And then I did the same thing on the back. And it was nice because that one digital had both of these fabrics on it, and I thought they both looked really nice with the page next to them. So that's what I ended up doing. I wanted to share that because I like sharing my experiments and things that I don't like and why. So this, again, if you're brand new to this, a signature is what we call folios, which is basically a piece of paper folded in half is a folio. And then you put multiple folios together and you've created a signature. So for Coptic stitch, you can do, if it was thicker paper, you could do one folio just stacked next to each other and stitch those together like that. Or you can do a few pages in between and just have your folios, your signatures thinner, so that they stack really nice together in the spine and you stitch them together that way. So it's kind of taking each of those little signatures, stitching them this way where you see your threads here, versus a pamphlet stitch, which has, like in this case, fewer signatures. You can see them better though. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 signatures, but they each have more folios within each one. And so when you stitch these on with the pamphlet stitch, you're stitching each signature to a spine and then the next one. So I actually have 5 different seams, if you want to call them that. I'm not sure if there's a term for that, but each one is sewn in with its separate thread onto the spine. So in this case, you're making a text block by sewing each signature next to the one next to it. So it's a totally different way. This one takes a lot longer, but the nice thing about this one is, as you see, as I flip through it, the pages lay nice and flat. Your book stays open. Whereas this one, you're kind of, each signature, it still kind of lays flat, but just not maybe as nicely as this way. So just two different ways of doing it. I love doing it this way. This is the easiest way, but I also really kind of like it's kind of meditative actually to sit there and stitch all these in. You really kind of have a sense of accomplishment because it is harder to do. And then I could, if I want, because I love the grungy look, I could just leave it like this, even though I've changed how it worked, and just have that be exposed. But I'm thinking, because I'm enjoying making the spine covers, and they're kind of unique. And plus I want to cover up that I created these holes. It'll cover those up. So you would have never known had I told you that I changed what I did. So that's my plan. I'll just kind of let you see. I did use more digitals in this one, and I can't remember how many signatures I have. I want to say 15 maybe, with 3 folios in each one, and then I threw in a couple of doilies. But I really like how this one turned out. So this one will be coming available. Hopefully if I can get this spine cover finished this week, I'll be able to put it together when I get back, and then it'll be available. So just, again, same kind of variety of old paper, tea stain, coffee stain paper, music page. Again, I added digitals into this one. Another little doily. I thought I would glue these down. I haven't yet, but to make little tucks. So I haven't done any of that kind of thing inside this one yet. And by the time I finish with the spine, I don't know that I will. I may just, again, sell this like a naked journal and not do much of anything else inside, because it just gives you more flexibility. The ones that I had sold so quickly that I need to get some more made. And I know there were some people that missed out on some that were hoping. So I will try to get these 2 finished and then keep going from there. Like I said, I will. The one I'm doing for Elaine is my sister's best friend in Mississippi, and she had asked for one. So I don't normally take commissioned orders, but because she's a close family friend, I'm going to do that. So I think, again, because I'm going to do some things different. She's an artist also, and so that's why it gave me some ideas of things that I might want to do in hers that I haven't been doing. So I thought I would share those ideas with you, and then that way, if those appeal to you, then I can kind of make some more to sell that are going to kind of be more like that. So we'll see. Just lots of little places to write and collage and all that sort of thing. This one ended up being so thick that it's going to be a super chunky journal. This you can open up and make pockets or flips or not. But it's nice to kind of continue making these, even though I want to do some gel printing and that kind of thing too. But it's nice, once you've kind of got a rhythm of doing them, you do them a little quicker. So that's why I want to kind of keep making them with some of these new book covers that I have. So that is it for today. I just wanted to share a little something because you're not going to see me for a week. So have a great rest of your weekend and week to come, and go make something. Bye.